Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's battle report is going to be a game of Moonstone. I'm going to be playing with the Commonwealth and Stephen is going to be playing with the Dominion. We're going to be playing with 6 models on each side, a standard sort of 1v1 game of Moonstone. So let's go check out who's in the fight. And so here we have the Commonwealth. So for starters, we have Baron von Fancy Hat, Eric the Squire, Agatha Tavern Thrall. We have Gotchka, Flintlock and Fritz rounding out our force. Then for the Dominion, we have Beaky Bobby, the Goblin King, Doug the Flatulent, Vicious Midget, Grub and Ribbold for their force. Before we get into today's video, we'd like to give a special thanks to our channel sponsors. First of all, to Mithras Games, who provides us with all our amazing game mats for the channel. Terrainheim, who provides us with MDF terrain and the amazing trackers you see in games like Warhammer Age of Sigmar on the channel. The Dice Guy for supplying us with amazing dice, and Monty's Tabletop Terrain for supplying us with fantastic 3D printed terrain at an affordable price. Thank you all for your support on the channel. If you'd like to go and have a look at any of these companies, we'll leave links to all 4 of them down in the description of the video. Alright, so let's begin by dropping Moonstone. I'm going to start with the first drop. Moonstone has dropped. Do you wish to call Mulligan? You're calling Mulligan? Cool. You get to do the same drop again. Pick up all 7 dice and then do the same thing. I can call a Mulligan after this, but then they would remain the same. So, go for it. Drop. I will Mulligan that because it's not a very good spread. And so that is where they are going to be. Alright, so now we're going to roll off to see who's the early bird and who gets initiative. So I got a 5, you got a 6, so you can choose to be either the early bird who will get to deploy first or take the initiative. Taking the initiative is normally the one. And so deployment is all done. We've got Baron von Fancy Hat and Eric the Squire over here, Flintlock, Agatha and Fritz in the center and Gotchka on the side for the Commonwealth. Meanwhile, we've got Doug the Flatulent over there, Beaky Bobby and Vicious Midget in the center, with Grub, Ribbold and the Goblin King in the forest there. So, Dominion get the first turn because they've got the initiative. So, their first activation is going to be Vicious Midget, correct?
Yep.
Straight up to the Moonstone, spending all 3 of his points of power to dig up the Moonstone to leave it at 1 point. So my first activation, I've just moved Fritz down. He would move onto this, spend 2, and then spend his last point to get an extra inch of move. So Fritz is now carrying a piece of Moonstone for all his activation points. On to your turn. Alrighty, so Doug has moved next. What he did is he moved forward his 4 inches, then used 6 inches of movement with charge to move directly towards Baron von Fancy Hat, and then finished his move with 2 inches from your last 2 energy to jump over next to the Moonstone, ready for next turn. So I'm going to activate Eric the Squire. So he's going to first of all spend 2 of his energy to use My Hero, his ability, which will give 2 energy to Baron von Fancy Hat, being a noble. And then we're going to go move 5 inches with him. Alrighty, so I've moved Baron von Fancy Hat his 4 inches. We've drawn our cards for the arcane ability of Shoot Pistol. I'm going to go with 2 green on my card. So, do you say I'm bluffing or am I telling the truth?
Bluffing.
It is 2 green, so that means I get to freely do the ability again. So, Doug takes 3 damages. I was telling the truth. Unfortunately, I could reuse the ability, but it's only a 1-shot ability with the pistol. I have to reload it. So I will spend my next 2 energy to reload, and then I'm going to shoot you again. And so we are going to go with green 3. What do you say with Doug?
Bluffing.
I'm not. So Doug takes 4 -1 because you always -1 impact. So Doug takes another 3 wounds, and I can activate another card from my hand, which. However, I can't, even though I would be able to activate a card because the pistol is not reloaded. So that is Baron von Fancy Hat done for the turn as well. Alright, so Grub has used 2 for his wormhole ability, moving into another obstacle. And then are you going to use your bug spray ability as well?
Yep.
Cool. So draw the arcane cards equal. Alright, so Grub is going to go using bug spray. You need blue of any sort. What are you calling?
3s.
Blue 3. I'm going to just say you're telling the truth, because I don't want Grub to take any more. So I take the damage, 3 wounds on each of them. Alright, so I'm going to take aim with flintlock and then shoot my musket at Grub. So Grub is actually -1 evade, so this puts me back at my regular 3. Flintlock means green of any variety. So I'm going to go green 1. What does your say?
Bullshit.
It is bullshit too. Do you have a catastrophe? Sure do. So Flintlock will take a catastrophe. Wow. I take 2 wounds and the reload ability cannot be used for the rest of the game. My gun explodes. Alright, so the Goblin King has moved up to the fence, jumps over, moves an inch forward and spends his last energy to pick up the piece of Moonstone there. My activation, I've got Agatha next. Alright, so Agatha has attacked. I've got my cards. I'm going to choose to put this one down. You put down one of the melee cards with Grub. Flip, I've gone with Thrust against your High Guard. So, Thrust against High Guard will deal 0, and I won't suffer anything. However, because I'm Agatha, I deal 1 additional piercing damage, so Grub will take a wound, because the 0 can be modified by pluses. And so Agatha's attacking Grub again. Put your card down. And reveal. I've gone for Falling Swing, you've gone for Low Guard, so I take absolutely nothing on this, but you will take 2 damage. So Beaky Bobby moves his 4-inch. He's had to jump as well, so expend an energy having to jump over. You've also picked up a Moonstone, so you've got 2 energy left. So Beaky Bobby is then going to use his healing ability on Doug the Flatulent. What are you calling?
That's a blue 3.
How many wounds? Doug's only got 3 on him. So I'm going to call you lying to me. You heal all your wounds and nothing else happens. So it was worth me trying to call your bluff. So Gotchka is going to attack Grub after using his first point of energy to get that extra inch of move he needs. We'll then go with attacking. Alright, so put your card down for Grub. And reveal. On Falling Swing. So I deal 4 damage because I add +2 to all damage from Gotchka. So Grub takes 4 and actually gets squished by Gotchka. So that is that. So we're going to go into priority for turn 2 now. So we roll a dice. You're getting +2 to this roll. So I got 4, so you need to get at least 3, 5. So you take the initiative again. Alright, so your first activation is Doug the Flatulent. So you're going to use the Digger ability. So you draw the top card of the Arcane deck. It's a 2, so it goes up by 2, which means he picks up the Moonstone. And then you're going to use 2 for charge, correct?
Yep.
So it has to go 6 inches towards the closest, which will be Baron von Fancy Hat. So he goes directly. So Doug's actually not going to use charge because you want to use the Foul Gases ability. So he moves forward, and then you've got Foul Gases, which can go for 2. Mm-hmm. So Doug moves in. You've used Foul Gas, put 2 damage on both Eric and Baron von Fancy Hat. And then you're going to attack once against Baron von Fancy Hat for your first, out of your last 2 remaining energy. Alrighty, so we've both got our cards here. Doug attacking Baron. I've gone with Falling Swing. You've gone with Falling Swing. So we now look at yours. We both do nothing.
Even with mine.
Right, so Doug's first attack did nothing. I actually did do 1 damage, but your shield negated the 1 point of damage. So we're going to go with the second attack for Doug now. We've drawn cards. Alrighty, so we're going to reveal cards. I have Rising Attack. You have Rising Attack. So we go off your card. So it is 1 for 1, but... Alrighty, so to explain the combat, you've got Ankle Biter, which is Doug's special attack for a Rising Attack. That turns your base damage into 2, and then you add 1 because it's piercing. Baron von Fancy Hat minuses all damage by 2, so he now takes a wound, going to 3. I've critted Rising Attack here. And so this is going to double the 1 to 2, and then I'm also going to do another point of damage because it's piercing, -1, so Doug is actually going to take 2 wounds from that. Right, so first of all, I'm going to activate Eric. I'm going to spend a single point for Field Medic, which is an arcane ability. So for Eric, I'm going to go with a blue 1. What am I doing? What are you calling on this?
I'll give it to you.
Give it to you? Cool. So Baron just heals the wounds. And that is the end of that. I'm then going to use the ability My Hero to give 2 more of these to Baron. So he's got 2 more activations, and that will be the end of Eric's turn. So your activation. Alright, so Ribold's move forward. He's using his shooting attack. What are you going to call out? What card are you going to declare with Ribold? He needs greens.
Green 3.
I'm gonna call you bluffing.
Meaning you've got the 3.
Yeah. It's not the right 3. So Ribold I'll then replace that with a catastrophe. And so Ribold is just going to take 3 wounds from his cannonball getting stuck on his toe. So I'm then going to go with Fritz. Alright, so we've picked our melee cards. Fritz, I've gone Rising Attack. You've gone Rising Attack. So we both take a damage. And so Ribold deals nothing to Fritz, but Fritz does deal 4 damage back. Unfortunately, there's no one else within 2 inches to use my Corn Cutter ability, which also would deal 2 damage to them. But Ribold takes 4. And so combat is done. It goes to your activation. Alright, so you're using Beaky Bobby's heal after he's moved there for his first 2 energy. So what's he doing next? So what are you putting down? You need blues.
Blue 1.
You can have it. I'm quite happy for you to just heal a wound on him. And so my move is just Fritz spending his only point, Flintlock, spending his only point of stamina, of energy to jump over and then just move up next to the Moonstone, ready to pick it up next turn. Your activation next, you've got Vicious Midget and the Goblin King to go. Alright, so Goblin King is stepping 1 inch, and then you're using your Rule the Roost ability, which is going to allow Ribold to activate immediately after. So 2 arcane, 2 energy will allow him to activate his arcane, shoot that cannon at Fritz's face. So put your card down and declare what you've got. What do you got?
Green 2.
I'm gonna let you have that. You are so lucky you did not get greedy. So Ribold does 5 damage to Fritz and knocks him back 2. So that'll be my activation. I'm gonna go with Gotchgut next. So Gotchgut moves, goes and picks up that Moonstone there. That'll be Vicious Midget is your last one to activate for the round. So you just moved Vicious Midget forward. I have done the Agatha moving forward, and now last activation for the round is actually me. I'm going to go to the Baron, and he's going to fight Doug. And so Baron, with his first energy, going to do my first of a lot of attacks into Doug. So going, put my card down. What is your one going to be? We then go. I've got Rising Attack. You have Thrust. So I deal 1 damage there. So at the end of the fight, I'm going to suffer none. Doug's going to take another wound, and we're going to attack him again. So second attack, I've gone with Thrust. You've gone with Low Guard. So Thrust into Low Guard is a damage +1, so you're going to take another point of damage. And I take nothing and can take nothing from that. And so going 3rd time's the charm, are we going to get Doug? All right, I've got my card down. What's your one? Reveal, Sweeping Cut, and Low Guard. So do nothing, and I can't change how much I do to that. So that one does absolutely nothing because it's got the thing. And so combat number 4, after I did nothing in the last combat, I've got Rising Attack. You've got Falling Swing. So Rising Attack against Falling Swing. I'm going to suffer 3, ouch. But I will minus that by 2. So I suffer 1. Falling Swing, I am going to crit it. Rising Attack. I'm going to crit it, so you're going to suffer 2 + 1, you're going to suffer 3 on Doug. -1, so you're going to suffer 2. So he's got 2 wounds left, almost got him. And so, looking at the table at the end, I've got 2 Moonstone held, you've got 3 held, there are still 2 on the table. So, priority, I got 4, means you need a 3. No, I actually get the initiative this round. We are actually going to go with Eric first. So I'm going to first of all go Field Medic on Baron Von Fancy Hat. So Eric's just going to go with blue 1. What are you going to call?
Bullshit.
It is bullshit. So Eric will actually suffer 2 wounds from that, if you've got a catastrophe. You do, so Eric suffers 2 wounds. You know what? Yeah, we're going to go with Field Medic again, so we're going to do it again. So we're going again, blue 1 again.
I'll give you that one.
That is correct, I do have it, so I take a wound off the Baron, taking him back to 2. That is Eric done, so your activation. So Doug is actually going to hit Eric. Combat. Alright, so go. I've got Rising Attack. You've got Rising Attack, so we can read my card for this one. So this means you will deal 1 and you'll suffer 1. However, I'm going to crit mine, so you'll suffer 2. And because this is actually a slicing, and so this actually turns into Ankle Biter, so Rising Attack, so you'll deal 2 damage. And I'll deal 2 damage. So Eric will take 2, so he'll go to 5. And then Doug will take 1, because you'll reduce the damage by 1. Alright, so Fritz attacking Ribbold. I've gone with Thrust. What have you gone with? Rising Attack. So this means I deal 2 to you, plus 1, so I'm going to do 3, but minus 1, so Ribbold will take 2. And so Fritz's second attack, I've gone with Falling Swing. You've gone with High Guard, which completely nullifies. So nothing. You though can play. You can follow up, so you can play another card from your hand if you've got one. And so he's not going to follow up just because Ribbold's card that he's got to follow up with does not work. Would actually kill Ribbold and do nothing to Fritz. So Fritz took his wound. That's Fritz done. Your activation. And so, what are you doing with Bicky Bobby? You're trying to heal Ribbold. So you've done. You're drawing your cards. What are you going to call that you got?
3 in blue.
You're lying. You're not, damn. Put another card down if you want. Don't show me what it is and call your card out again. What's this one?
Blue 1.
You're lying this time. So, I will catastrophe the second one on Beaky Bobby. And so, Beaky Bobby took 2 wounds from his catastrophe and you healed 4 on Ribbold. So that means we're going to go with it again. He's going to use the same power again. So draw your cards. And so, what have you got this time?
It's a blue 2.
You're lying. Damn it, you had the other one. So he heals 2 and you can put a card down again. What do you have this time?
Blue 1.
You're lying. Oh, God damn it. You can do another one.
Blue 1.
You're lying. Cool. Where is it? Screw Beaky Bobby, he takes 2 more wounds. So we've moved Gotcha Gut forward to his 4-inch, and now we're doing our first of 2 activations. So attacking with Thrust.
Low guard.
You've gone with Low Guard, so I deal 1 plus 1 to Ribbold. So Ribbold takes 2 from that. And we're going to attack him again. So my second attack with Gotcha Gut, I've gone with Falling Swing. You've gone Falling Swing. So we both deal nothing, but I always do plus 2, so you're going to take 1 damage on Ribbold then. Alright, so Ribbold is going to activate. He's going to shoot his cannon at Fritz. So, see what he does. So, what card are you declaring? You need greens of some variety.
2. Green 2.
I think Fritz is dead from this regardless, so you're bluffing. Because there's no... You're not. Ribbold can activate again with another one of his cards if he wants.
Green 1.
You're bluffing? No? Go again.
Green 1.
You're going to have it this time. So he kills Fritz and actually does 2 wounds to Gotchgut, shooting Gotchgut. So that'll drop Moonstone right there. So my activation, we're just going to move up and pick that up. Yoink. And yeah, so Flintlock just moves 2 inches back again. So
Goblin King.
Goblin King.
I'm gonna go
Rule the Roost. Activate Ribbold.
Yep.
Cool. So Goblin King, first of all, he moves next up with his 4 inches, then uses a point of energy to dig it up once. Before now doing Rule the Roost, which means Ribbold activates immediately after him. So we'll go with another Arcane. So Ribbold is shooting. What are you going to declare?
Green 1.
I'm going to say you're bluffing. You are. 2. Cool. So he takes 3 wounds on Ribbold there. With a catastrophe from me. Oh, that's the Arcane pile. So my activation. So we're going, let's see, I've gone Falling Swing. You've gone High Guard. So nothing, so that's going to be that. I'll then go again with another attack. And so, second attack, I've gone with Thrust this time, Low Guard. So 1, I'm actually going to crit that. Which will deal 2, +1, 3, that'll get rid of Doug. And so that means his Moonstone drops, so you've just got Vicious Midget left to go this round. Alrighty, so we go. I did Low Guard. That's the one card I need. Thrust. I suffer 1. So Thrust does. So what happened here? Eric took a wound, which meant he survived just. He then uses a Low Guard with his special ability is You'll Regret That. So you got to swap places with a model in 4 inch, which was Agatha Tavern for all. So she's now fighting the Vicious Midget. Alright, so reveal what we got. Agatha has gone High Guard. You've gone Rising Attack. So you deal 2, you can't suffer any. However, Agatha has her special in the defense one, which you've gone Rising Attack, meaning I can actually follow up on this. Because hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And so I'm going to choose to not follow up because anything there was actually bad for me to follow up with. So we go with Vicious Midget's last attack into Agatha, I guess, isn't it?
Yep.
And so Agatha's probably going to die, so we're going out with a bang. We're thrusting you. So Rising Attack. So I'm going to suffer 2. But you're also going to suffer 2. And because it's piercing, you're actually going to suffer 3. Because Agatha does piercing. And because he got an energy back, he keeps freaking attacking until he stops doing energy. So he's going to try and hit Agatha again. He's got to watch out though, because Agatha could just go all offense and potentially kill him back. Alrighty, what card have you picked with Vicious Midget? Let's go. I've got Thrust. You've got Falling Swing. So Falling Swing against Thrust. You actually don't do anything because of what I picked. You're actually going to suffer 2 damage on him and do nothing. And because it's piercing, you're actually going to suffer 3. And just like that, he got greedy with the amount of attacks and the Vicious Midget got over eager and Agatha stabbed him in the eye. Sorry, correction, Baron has gone, he killed Doug. So Agatha is going to then just spend 2 to do that. Drop that to a 2. And we go into round 4 now. So this is just a flat roll-off. I got a 4, we got a 3, I take the turn. Right, so first activation, Agatha's just going to move and pick that one up. So it's your activation. Alright, so Ribbold is going to choose to shoot Flintlock. He's carrying Moonstone. He's only got 1 wound left, so you just need to get some damage. So Ribbold, what are you going to choose with his card? He needs green, yeah?
Yep. Green 2.
You know what? I don't want you being able to shoot both Eric and him, so you can just have it. And it was a green 2 anyway, so good. So mine, just move the Baron, 1 and 2. Alright, so we're going to call the game here because Goblin King's going to spend all his energy picking up the Moonstone, means you go to... Oh no, 2 Moonstone for you, isn't it? 3? Goblin King's got 2. So you've got 3 Moonstone, I've got 3 Moonstone, means the game ends in a draw. Eric can't get here, Ribold has activated. The Goblin King couldn't use Rule the Roost, because if he did, then he didn't pick up his, so it wouldn't work either way. Beaky Bobby was out of range to pick up the Moonstone near the Goblin King. So just how it all sort of works, you either pick up that or you pick up the one next to Goblin King. It ends 3-3 with 1 piece of Moonstone left, and we both go back to the caves during the sunlight. And so that's the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, why don't you drop a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Cinderful Gaming, you can do so by joining our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel, which is our Patreon and YouTube members. As Patreon and YouTube members, you'll get to help decide what content the channel focuses on when we're not focusing on new releases, and you'll also get your name shouted out at the end of the video. So special thanks to all our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lyle, Alder and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Bloobs, Benjamin Suarez, Redman, Aaron DeHaven and Kevin Bowman. And to our YouTube members as well: Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Man Killer, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Weir and James South. Lastly, if you'd also like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so by grabbing some channel merch off either our Teespring store or off our Ko-fi store, both of which, as well as the Patreon and YouTube members, are linked in the video's description. Once again, thank you all for watching. Stay safe everyone, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.